Alright, it's been a while since I've made a video, but you saw the title. You know why I'm here. I've been sticking away from power scaling and versus debates because, frankly, they started giving me migraines at some point because of the big brain on some of these people. I've also got my pal here with me.
Hey.
He is, he remembers a lot about Bleach more than I do because he's watched it a lot more than me, but I've read it more than he has.
That might be what some call a fanatic.
True. Oh, sorry. I feel like I might have just spoiled my opinion. I already hit the dislike button. So there are many issues with this video. A lot of issues that make you think, man, are they even trying anymore? And like it's a similar feeling that I feel like a lot of people had when looking at certain videos. But this is the video that it hit me on, where I was like, dude, they're just not even trying anymore, are they? Is there even a point in talking about what's wrong? Because it's just not going to change. They so rarely ever do a matchup correctly, quote unquote, that it just feels like an eventuality. They're just always going to mess it up. But I will say, the animation is really nice. It's really well done. I think the voice actors for both characters did a wonderful job. Especially Aizen's voice actor. I think he fit it really well. And I have this thing called suspension of disbelief that I get to activate whenever I want. It's my special power, which means I can watch the animation and not care about how much it doesn't make any sense. But
A
with
lovely
that
power to have.
yeah, it's a pretty neat ability. But with that said, we're gonna start off doing my my usual thing. Ignore that loud ass fucking noise. We're gonna do my usual thing where like I watch the battle and I like pause at certain points and say like give a little bit of commentary. But if you want to watch the battle without any commentary, you know where their video is. If you found this video, you know where their video is. All right.
As
But
always,
right
one
now,
finish will
it's
do it.
time for a death battle!
I'm gonna pause at various points.
You can see me.
I can see everything.
So I can see everything. Really nice line. If he had the Renegon out, it would have made sense. The Sharingan can't see ghosts. Only the Renegon can do that. So, you know, I personally don't care about the ghost argument. If you're going to make that, then the fight doesn't matter. Because it's like, okay, one side has a... At least Madara is kind of cool about it at the end. Even though they were both being horrendous dicks to each other throughout the entire fight. And that is their animation. And like I said,
Alright.
if it ended with, you know your place, which again, still kind of rude for Aizen. I mean, I don't know. Straga or Aizen is kind of a dick, because if you pushed him to that point, then he's probably going to be an asshole. But like, if it ended there, it would have been fine. There was I think they didn't upplay the illusions enough in this fight. I think there's a lot of wasted potential. But, you know, that's just how it is. And of course, I disagree with their conclusion, of course.
There are a lot of people that are really hoping for the end to be, alright, Madara wins, and then it just cuts, and it's just Aizen was all part of the illusion.
Yeah.
Aizen's actually the winner.
It was all part of the illusion. But yeah, so before we move forward, I just want to put this out there. I don't hate Naruto. I like Naruto. My friend does not, but I do.
I don't care for the main character. The world has its interesting moments, you know. Madara, the character, is an interesting character.
Yeah, like Madara is a good villain. I would argue Madara is a very good villain. I think Aizen is a better villain because I just like the type of villain that Aizen is more. It's not really about like specific detail differences because they're both incredibly detailed. I just like the Aizen archetype a little more. I think his story is in a weird way. I think Aizen's like story is a lot sadder than Madara's, because a lot of Madara's problems were caused by the world, but a lot of Aizen's problems were caused by himself. Aizen's story is a tale of self-destruction. That is what it is.
He was born too strong.
Yeah, literally. But yeah. So yeah, I like both of the series. I like both of them a significant amount. I like Bleach a little bit more, but I still think Naruto's fine. They're both really good anime. I like Madara. I like Aizen. Both of them as characters. I've scaled Naruto and Bleach for a very long time, so I know how strong Madara is, and I know how strong Aizen is. All right, you tend to gain this knowledge after a while. So I mean no like ill will when I speak about their conclusion. I try to be as impartial and unbiased as possible. So now I'm gonna slowly go through their points one by one in their conclusion.
Numbers to go with to determine their limits. The point is, they're always going to be close to even.
Which means the main thing that mattered here were their powers and how they countered each other. Madara's enormous...
So, yeah, I skipped over it on accident.
Oh!
But...
By our calculation...
They argued that they had relative speed. Personally, I don't mind too much. I could make arguments that Aizen's faster. To be fair, I could also use chakra stacking, which is a thing in Naruto that people try to argue, even though it doesn't really make any sense, where... You've got the feat from Naruto giving his cloak to people, and every cloak was 3 times as much chakra as Kakashi. So theoretically, all that chakra gives him more speed, so he should be like fucking several billion times the speed of light, which is ludicrous and doesn't make sense. And I personally don't buy into it, because it is horrendously above.
You know what the funny thing is, though?
Not ignoring teleportation. Like normal number scaling, that is so far above everything in both Bleach and Naruto combined. Like, that is horrendously high, and it's kind of BS in my opinion, just because it's
starting to get into comic book numbers there.
Yeah, we're getting into numbers like, oh, Whis flying from one half of the one half of the universe to another half in a certain amount of time, or Omni-Man going from planet Earth to a fucking, populated planet in a week. Like, those are the types of numbers we're talking about. Those are ludicrous. But yeah, other than that, like, speed being equal, both are above light speed generally. Like, I can agree with that. Because, both characters are generally above light speed. They're both obviously way higher than light speed, but, it's kind of hard to put an exact number. Because, honestly, there are a lot of increases in Bleach that don't really have numbers given. It's a lot like the training arcs in, like, Dragon Ball Super. Like, whenever Goku and Vegeta go into the hyperbolic time chamber for 3 years, and there's no real way to determine how much stronger they got. You just know they got way stronger. But moving forward from that,
Madara spreading the God Tree's roots with his chakra was about 7 times more powerful than the best that Aizen could scale to with his rare Yoku.
So, we've got a very interesting feat to choose for Madara. I'll grant them that. Like, why are they using this feat? The world tree being spread, right? Very interesting feat. All right, that's about all the points I'll grant you. It's horrific downplay, like horrific downplay. Because for those of you who don't know, 1 Yoda ton of TNT is nowhere near planet level, and like Madara is way above planet level, and I'll tell you why. So, the Nine Tails is stated several times throughout the whole series to be a threat to the entire planet. Like, not just the countries on it. He is a planetary threat. He could destroy the Earth. And Madara is stronger than the Nine Tails. So, Madara has to be planetary, which already puts him above this feat. ignoring the fact that he has several other power increases from there, right? But the best way that I can genuinely sit down and scale Madara is to compare him to Kaguya, because theoretically he would be, I mean, he's significantly weaker than Kaguya, but that's also the closest thing to like number scaling we can get for him. And there are several ways you can scale Kaguya. One of them is like blatant, way crazy overhype that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And that is saying that Kaguya has the attack potency to destroy an entire space-time continuum. You know, like a universe and multiple timelines, which doesn't make any sense. It's also blatant overhype. And then you've got like slight highball, like the normal highball, which is saying that Kaguya is solar system level, because she was going to destroy one of the realms she controlled, which contains a star and a planetoid. Therefore, you could argue there are other planetoids surrounding that star, and it would make it a solar system, relatively. But that is kind of highball, because there's no proof there are other ones or how big that realm actually is. So then we fall to the actual normal scale that makes sense, that says Kaguya is bare minimum star level, because she was going to destroy everything in that realm, including the star. So she has to be star level, which is much more impressive than planet level. It may not seem like it, but it really is. The number difference is crazy. A lot more zeros, basically. But moving past that, you have Madara. Well, I should say moving backwards from that, you have Madara, who has to be weaker than Kaguya. And Kaguya being star level regularly, that means Madara can't be star level. There's almost no way. He has to be significantly weaker than Kaguya, because statements from almost every character that meets Kaguya and fights Kaguya states that she is so much crazier than Madara was, like way more powerful. Like, it isn't even worth comparing. They are like, she's like a different type of creature. Which, in all fairness, she is.
I was about to say, it's almost like she is.
Yeah, it's almost like she's an alien. Right? So, we can be nice and just say, like, alright, for sake of argument, we'll say that Madara is like dwarf star level, right? Lower than star level by a significant amount. Because it goes star level, low star, like small star level, and then dwarf star. So we'll put him at dwarf star. So that's 2 tiers below Kaguya in terms of power. Now we gotta talk about Aizen. And this is where the funny comes in.
This is where the ha-has.
So, for any of you who actually know how to scale Bleach, or for those of you who have watched like a Seth the Programmer video or a fucking Clyde video on Bleach, they've got a pretty good handle on the actual power for like the early game and the late game. Though, of course, they've been sticking away from the late game because of, you know, they're working on their video. They don't want to spoil it.
Also, it's really, really hard.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, it's also really difficult to like properly scale late game Bleach. But for those of us that do know how to scale early game Bleach, you should know that every lieutenant has to be planet level, minimum. They have to. It is literally stated. It wouldn't make sense if they weren't, because lieutenants are required to wear this little patch on their arm. It's like a little tattoo that seals.
I apologize.
But yeah, it's all right. It seals their power so that they don't affect the planet or the living realm. Yeah, the living realm. They're universal. But you might think, well, no, they just mean like the city, or like, you know, just like their general surroundings. And it's like, you know what? That would be a fair statement if Shinji didn't directly contradict that. Because Shinji stops Ichigo from fighting Hollows, like, openly, and tells him that his spiritual pressure is spreading across the entire planet. and is affecting all of the hollows. Like, it's stirring everything up because he's too strong. So he needs to, dial it back. Oh, jeez. But, like, that has got to be one of the weakest characters. Is beginning of series Renji is already planet level. And we're talking about Aizen. A guy who is stronger than almost every captain in the series by the time he's first introduced. Like, it's not okay. The difference is ludicrous. And I could make up fake numbers. I could try to come up with really low ball scales, because the only time that I'll say it's okay, like, to theorize using numbers that don't exist is whenever in term of the numbers it's already, like, really low ball. So it's fair, because you can judge what the number should be by statements and by feats, such as certain characters being dominantly more powerful, which doesn't always imply that they're 100 times stronger, but could minimum imply they're at least 1.5 to 2 times stronger, right? You got to be at least significantly stronger in order to manhandle another character in most shows, Bleach included, Naruto also included. But I'm not gonna do that because I don't have to. I can just bring up, actual scaling for Aizen. Like, the Aizen that they tried to present in this fight, which was Chair Aizen. It's end of series Aizen. It's, oh, lordy. How do I want to put this? So Chair Aizen fights a certain character by the name of Yuha. And Yuha is bare minimum universal plus because of what he both did and was going to do. And even if you don't want to draw from that fight, you can draw from the fact that he is literally stated to be stronger than Genryusai at several points. Like, later fusions, he is stated and implied several times to be a threat that physically Genryusai can no longer stop, even with Bankai. And Genryusai in Bankai with one arm is, in essence, universal. Like, it's slightly highball. Let's put it this way. The spirit inside of his Zanpakuto is universal. He is supposedly a little lower than that because he isn't confident enough to draw it out completely because he doesn't believe he could control it. However, even like this, he would still be a little bit lower than universal, which is like fucking way above galaxy level, which is way above star level. And the reasoning for why Genryusai is universal, I'll give it very quickly right here. It comes from an understanding of how the universes of Bleach work. So you've got the living realm, which is an infinite universe. It's our universe. It stretches on infinitely, right? And then you've got Soul Society, which is the afterlife. And there are a lot of really weird arguments to say that the Soul Society is not infinite, which doesn't make too much sense. I'll grant you that the Gote 13, the Serete, is not infinite. It has a finite size, but Soul Society has to be future-proof. Like, all the people in the living world have to die and go somewhere, and there are going to be an infinite number of living people, so eventually they would fill up too much space, so there has to be an infinite amount of space in Soul Society. Along with the fact that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there are, like, literally stars in Soul Society, like a night sky.
Yeah, there's a night sky scene in the manga where they show stars in the sky, which implies that there is a space beyond just the dome we see. And we also see the landscape of the Soul Society. There's land beyond the actual Serete.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. Even if you wanted to, like, downplay it and say, all right, well, we can only see so many stars, It's like, okay, but like each of those stars could be a... Alright, we're back. Hopefully technical difficulties are done. I've been trying to record this video for over an hour, god damn it. So, just in case my voice cut out at some point, because I'm already going to have to stitch these videos together, I believe I was talking about, what was it, the galaxy scaling for Genryusai?
Yep.
Right, so there are stars shown in the manga, and the stars, there are a lot of them, which could imply one of two things. There are several more solar systems in Soul Society, or the Soul Society could very well be its own galaxy with how many stars are there. Because, you know, you can't really see that many. Well, you can see a lot, but physically with your eyes you wouldn't be able to see enough. Either way, that still puts him, like, ludicrously above the scale that Madara has. And Kaguya, for that matter. But that's not what we're talking about. Now, is it? But this is, of course, all just kind of really lowball because we're assuming that Soul Society isn't its own infinite universe, even though it kind of has to be. But whatever. Nobody likes giving Bleach characters credit, right? So that's the problem between their power scaling in all reality. So not only did they get the level of strength for both of these fighters wrong, but it's the difference between them is not only reversed but way greater. Like way greater. Like the scaling I gave for saying like, oh, you know, Genryusai is this strong, Aizen should be that strong bare minimum in like 3rd or 4th fusion. Because it was at that point that he openly believed that no one could stop him. It is highly implied that Aizen was only worried about fighting Genryusai before he evolved. And I personally like Genryusai. I like giving benefit of the doubt. So I wouldn't say that, like, you know, 1st fusion Aizen is stronger, even though statements from Aizen would imply that.
You know, depending on how much credit you want to give Gein's, you know, explanation, you could theorize that even if we want to lowball Yamamoto to planetary, it still means Aizen is vastly stronger, because Gein directly states that his power, speed, and abilities are all greater than any Shinigami, any captain, any lieutenant.
Does Gein know about the Squad Zero members?
We don't talk about the Squad Zero members.
What?
They're an exception.
Alright, 1 second. Right. Now that that's done. So yeah, in terms of raw power, that is what is wrong with their calculations, if I can even call them that.
Aizen could scale to with his rare Yoku, and both ended up being roughly as fast as each other.
Well, there are a range of possible.
I also forgot to mention, I scrolled back and found the scale they were using for Aizen's level of strength, and it was the meteor that was falling on Soul Society, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, why would you use that? When has that ever been an accurate depiction of Aizen's strength?
They were like, yeah, you know, stated to be stronger than all Shinigami, including Kenpachi.
Including Kenpachi, including Genryusai, including literally every Shinigami we've ever met. just ugh. But yeah, let's get to their next
Feats
point.
and numbers to go with to determine their limits. The point is, they're always going to be close to even.
Which means the main thing that mattered here were their powers and how they countered each other.
Yes, Wiz, I agree. The thing that really matters is their powers and how they counter each other. What were you going to say?
Madara's enormous variety of abilities eventually overwhelmed Aizen.
See, there's the problem. You said Madara's wide variety of abilities eventually overpowered Aizen. See, that's not what I saw, and that's also not what I know, because I think you're forgetting the fact that I'm pretty positive Aizen knows every Hado, Bakudo, pretty much any spell that a Soul Reaper can cast. I'm pretty sure Aizen knows them. And can cast all of them without incantation. on the spot, including
Yeah,
ones
there's
that
also-
stop time.
There's that. Also, because he's a Kido master, he can cast all of them without incantation at max strength.
Yeah.
But incantation still matters in Bleach.
See, I'm
Your base level Kido is already stronger than a full incantation if you're Kido master. You can stack that with an incantation.
yeah, no. Compared to the level of increase you would get. So, for example, like if they were relative in strength in terms of like attack potency, you have like Kido user and Kido master. The Kido user could do a full incantation, and then the Kido master could not do an incantation, and they would have equal levels of strength. But then the Kido master can also do incantation, and it would be several times stronger. So it's already cast at maximum output normally, and then you just make it even stronger.
There's that, and there's also, and this doesn't really matter because you have to like come up with them before the fight, but you know, Kido masters can just make new Kidos. Unlike Madara, as far as I'm aware, is bound to the jutsus he's aware of that he knows. Madara can just make one up. Sorry, not Madara, Aizen.
Yeah, so I'm not. Neither of us are arguing that it's terribly easy to do that. Like it definitely, you have to go through like a process and a phase, it's a working process.
Although if there was anybody that could do it really easily, it probably would be Aizen.
I mean, yeah, that's totally fair. Either Aizen or Kisuke, because we both know both of them have done it canonically. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And again, I take that with a grain of salt. I don't have a specific directory to point at for that, but I'm pretty positive that it would make sense that both of them have canonically made their own.
I do. There's the Kido that Aizen uses, right, to separate the Hogyuku from Rukia, that he had to come up with so the soul would not burn up when he does that.
Oh, yeah. Damn. Oh, yeah, and Kisuke made the Kido that he put on Aizen.
Yep.
Yeah,
and he did that on the fly, too. There's no, like, there's no implication that he like, formulated that over years. He was like, I'm going to have to do this before you become literally unkillable.
Yeah, I think bare minimum, he probably made that. Like, he'd probably been working on that since, like, Aizen left the Soul Society. Maybe a little bit before that.
Oh, that's the other thing. If we're using this, too, as an example, they can also make new Kidos and hide them within other Kidos.
Oh, yeah, no. They can, like, stack Kidos. So the variability in Kido, Hado, and Bakudo is, like, supremely underplayed in this. And we're gonna, don't worry, Straga. We're gonna get to your favorite Kido, number 70 something, I believe, the one Kaname uses, but don't bring it up yet. We're gonna get to it when they bring it up. Oh wait,
okay, hold on.
Oh wait, they don't. We're gonna bring it up, all right? But let's go forward. Let's go forward a little bit.
While Soul Reapers like Aizen may be invisible to regular people, Rinnegan allowed Madara to see invisible spiritual beings like his own Limbo clones.
Truth-seeking balls were stated to prevent Edo Tensei from regenerating because they nullified the jutsu. Yeah, given the similarities between blah, blah, blah. So basically they're saying that, you know, because the truth-seeking balls, like, visibly damaged spirits in Naruto in ways that wouldn't regenerate, which is true, that Aizen wouldn't be able to regenerate from the damage they dealt, which, you know what? I might grant that his high-speed regeneration in this scenario wouldn't do it. You know what would? The Hogyoku. You know what else would stop it from happening entirely? The fact that Aizen has so much more spirit pressure that he negates the effects of the truth-seeking orb.
Oh, there's that, and I don't know if we want to go into this, but I want to go off how the truth-seeking orbs work. Specifically, they attack people with chakra.
They destroy chakra and like soul juice. But again,
well, yeah,
this whole like argument comes from I'm already compromising on the fact that I am going to treat spiritual pressure and chakra as the same thing. For the sake of argument.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, but also
I'm going to.
Then there's the problem with the Godamas where their size is relative to their attack potency, correct?
Not always.
Like you need a fairly large Godama to like destroy a planet.
Yes, if you wanted to destroy the yeah, but that's still that like falls in line with like the Aizen and Ichigo like trading swings and they destroy like the mountain. And it's like, yeah, that's how strong he is. He can only destroy a mountain. It's like,
okay,
it's like not really. That's just the level of range it has. However, the final truth-seeking orb is a genuine representation of attack potency because it is all of her chakra. And it's stated that she's doing it to destroy the things within that realm. So she has to try really hard. But right here, they make this compromise, but I would be fine with that if they didn't pick and choose what they decide to compromise on. Because for some reason, they don't feel like treating this equally. They like giving the Naruto character an edge that is really unfair. So he says that Madara can do damage to Aizen that Aizen can't like recover from, right? But they ignore the fact that if we're treating these abilities like the same thing, then Aizen should have the ability to resist powers that are weaker than him. Meaning that he would resist their destructive properties.
Yeah, there's that, and there's also, if you want to look at how Bleach characters operate, technically all damage is damage to a soul. Like getting an arm cut off is not a new thing. If you can regenerate anything in Bleach, you're regenerating your soul.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's actually a good thing to bring up, just on an off note. Bleach characters probably, and by probably I mean absolutely, have way higher spirit durability, if you want to call it that, than Naruto characters. I would grant they have way more spirit durability than fucking Minato does, the guy they use as an example.
Yeah.
But again, let's move forward. I want to hear what they have to say about this.
Hell, the Rinnegan lets you see and remove human souls, and that's exactly what a Soul Reaper is.
Both Chakra and Raryoku utilize spirit energy and operated in similar ways, being formed into attacks like ninjutsu and Kido. That meant that Madara's ability to absorb ninjutsu allowed him to nullify the vast majority of Aizen's range attacks.
So, they brought up the Preta Path, and it was like, yeah, if we're treating like spiritual pressure and fucking chakra the same way, then yes, the Preta Path is incredibly useful. In all honesty, he just has a worse version of that Quincy ability, which is really good, especially for dealing with things like Kudo Hitsugi. It would be really useful. So yeah, they're right to say that in this situation, all his ranged attacks are kind of negged because of the fact he can absorb them.
So here's my only problem with this.
Go ahead.
I'm not that well versed in how like chakra bombs or energy blasts work in Naruto. I would assume they're mainly explosive, although again I'm not that well versed. Are there any like chakra or energy based attacks in Naruto that have a physical striking force to them?
Like a physical striking force?
So like how we talked about that one time with how Ceros had a physical striking force long before the actual explosion.
Oh yeah. They're like actually, it's really interesting.
Yeah, because the thing is, it wouldn't be enough to just absorb the energy from his blast if he can't withstand the striking force, right? The fan doesn't negate all, striking force.
I get what you're saying, and I think it's really weird, because I think the way that it works in Naruto is whenever they use a jutsu, like, for example, Earth style and Water style, like, they have striking forces because they're not, like, they're not like fucking energy beams. Like, they do things, but I think it's demonstrated with the Preta Path that they just absorb, like, everything, including the physical components used in it.
Okay, interesting.
However,
all right.
Something that I remembered is the fact that Madara has a limit to how much he can absorb. So, I'm pretty sure, anyway. I swear I'm remembering this. And again, I might be wrong, but I have a vivid memory of of Madara absorbing a jutsu, and as he's absorbing it with the Preta Path, you can hear his inner monologue say, "too much," and then he has to run away. The Preta Path couldn't absorb all of it. He had to run. He had to retrate.
Okay.
And it was from a guy who was significantly weaker than him.
Okay, so an argument could be made that even if he could absorb the energy type, he's not going to be able to absorb the physical striking power or the explosion aftermath from an attack from Aizen like that.
You could make that argument. You could also make the argument that he just can't absorb all of it. It is physically too much. It's too much chakra. He wouldn't be able to absorb all of it. Which is really weird because I'm pretty sure databooks describe the Preta Path as a bottomless well, but there are also things specifically with Aizen where they Madara, where they literally say like too much and stuff like that. Unless I'm misremembering, which someone in the comments can say that, and it's all good. I'm not gonna freak out. You can tell me that. But moving forward, which again they also use the really, really bad example of how the Preta Path works with Madara running through the barrier and attacking Aizen in the same beat.
And even dispel his force fields.
And despite how OP Aizen's complete hypnosis was, Sharingan users can break out of illusions no sweat.
So, and now we get to the elephant in the room. So despite how OP Aizen's Genjutsu is, Sharingan users can break out of Genjutsus no sweat. You're not wrong.
Yep, Sharingan users.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Sharingan users can break out of Genjutsu no sweat. That's the problem. This isn't a Genjutsu, dude. And I'm not... you know what? You can make the equivalent energy type argument, and it still doesn't matter. Like...
You want to use that argument, it still doesn't work.
Yeah, no, you still can't break out of it. See, this is where I just took a step back, and I was like, how did we get here? How little did you pay attention when you were researching these characters?
How little did your paid employee pay attention?
Yeah, how little did your poor intern pay attention because of how underfed they are? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to fucking shit on. These are jokes, by the way. We're not trying to shit on Death Battle Crew.
I was only partially sarcastic.
But still, how little can you pay attention to the series and come up with this garbage, right? Because a Genjutsu that cannot be broken out of no matter what exists in Naruto. There are 2 that you can't get out of. There's the Infinite Tsukiyomi, which is a pretty big boy. However, in my opinion, you can make the argument that it's the strongest. However, someone has resisted the Infinite Tsukiyomi in the past. There's another Genjutsu that you can't break out of that has never been resisted. That being Kodo Amatsukami, which literally does the exact same thing that Aizen does, but worse. It's just not as good. So, you can make the argument that, like, oh no, they can break out of illusions, but, like, that doesn't apply. Like, there are illusions that no matter what, you can't break out of. You can have a Renegon. You can have a Rene Sharingan. You can be an Otsutsuki member. It doesn't matter. You can't break out of the Infinite Tsukiyomi, and you can't break out of Kodo Amatsukami. You can become aware that you're in both of them, but it doesn't matter. You'll still be under the effects. Your senses are still altered. It's almost as if you never knew you were out of it. It is irrelevant, and that is exactly how Aizen's Kyokusuigetsu works. It is always been stated like that.
The other thing with Aizen's Kyokusuigetsu that's neat is he's able to put illusions through other people's illusions that are able to affect them.
Yep. Me and Straga have joked about this, but genuinely we believe that a fair assessment for what Aizen's Bankai would be is that instead of creating illusions, he literally warps reality. Like, just actually.
For anybody that's played Bleach Brave Souls, you'll know about a certain anniversary Aizen character.
Yeah, in all fairness, you can interpret his ultimate as him literally warping reality itself. It's no longer an illusion. Like, it is bad. But yeah, so the scene of Madara breaking out of the illusion, doesn't make any sense. Because like I said, there are genjutsu that people can't break out of. And you know what? If anyone ever broke out of Kyokusugetsu, I might give them a little bit of leniency, but literally no one has ever done that. Not even Yuha has done that.
You know what the funny thing about this is? The implication is that in order for him to have broken out of that, Aizen would have had to be under some kind of illusion or, misinformation that his illusion was working, and that would never happen.
Yeah? Like, I don't think they understand the gravity of Aizen's illusions. I think a more accurate way of doing this would have been to have... Because again, I still think in the animation, it was really nice, but I think they really have a missed opportunity with, like, them using illusion after illusion after illusion. Like, it's just a mindfuck game. It's a literal chess game. But at the end of the day, Aizen is letting it happen. Like, the final illusion is his. He's, like, the final illusion is that the fight never even happened. Like, Madara's head has already been cut off.
Based on the arguments they made, it would have been a better choice for him to use non-EOS Aizen, because then they could at least argue that, hey, Madara, since he has relative speed, can at least counter Aizen before he draws a sword and activates his ability, or he can grab Aizen's blade. EOS Aizen, that shit doesn't matter.
Yeah, see, that's...
You look at him.
If you look at him, you're looking at his released sword. Because that's what his body is now. He fused with his blade. He can summon it, but he always has it. It is one with his body. Therefore, his activation condition is looking at him. Period. And like we said, the moment you're under it, you're done for. Like, you're never getting out, ever. There's no time.
There's only two people that ever run into Aizen's Kyokusugetsu that's ever survived it. One of them was Ichigo, because Aizen didn't choose to activate it in front of him.
Yep.
Another is Kaname, because Kaname is OP.
The other was Kaname.
Because he's blind.
Because he's blind. You're right! Okay, but moving forward in their video.
Even one's as powerful as Itachi's Tsukuyomi, and since Madara...
Okay, I like when they said you can break out of genjutsus. Even ones as powerful as Tsukuyomi, like Itachi's. And they show the clip of Sasuke breaking out of it, where it is specifically stated and implied that Itachi let him break out. Really bad example, guys.
can switch between the Rinnegan and the Sharingan at will. He'd be able to break out of an illusion anytime he wanted.
So they also make this statement where they're like, hey, only Sharingan users can break out of genjutsu, apparently. And he can switch between Rinnegan and Sharingan at will. And it's like, you really didn't do your research, did you?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because Rinnegan users have all the previous abilities, right?
So they can't activate
switch.
They can't activate their Mangekyo abilities unless they revert to Mangekyo. However, they can still use their Perfect Susanoo, and something that these guys haven't put together, even though you would do it pretty easily if you just, watch the series, is that, if you have a Mangekyo Sharingan, you can break out of a regular Sharingan Genjutsu because it's a lower tier of Eye. The Rinnegan is a higher tier of Eye than the Mangekyo. He wouldn't need to revert in order to break out of a Genjutsu. He's never done that. He's always basically been immune to them. I'm pretty sure he's never been hit with a Genjutsu that he needed to break out of with his fucking Rinnegan. But it's also stated several times that the Rinnegan has higher Genjutsu resistance than the Mangekyo anyway. So this argument doesn't make any sense either. That's just more blatant downplay for Madara instead of Aizen this time.
Yep.
But moving forward.
Aizen's illusions are nearly perfect, but fellow Captain Unohana was able to subconsciously notice its flaws.
Okay, so here's a statement that they use. Aizen's illusions are, quote, nearly perfect, but fellow Captain Unohana was able to subconsciously notice its flaws. really interesting way of describing the fact that she took down his fake dead body and performed an autopsy. Incredibly detailed. One of the best healers in the entire series, and she figured out it was a fake dead body.
Yes. Oh, I mean,
she did not glance at it and know it wasn't real.
There are two important factors here. This is going to involve spoilers for the later, last arc of Bleach.
Oh yeah, there are lots of spoilers for Bleach and Naruto in this.
Yeah,
Here's your warning.
The two reasons why that worked is because, one, it was Unohana, the best swordsman in the entire Soul Society, one of the oldest members of the... Sorry, best entire Soul Society, my bad. One of the oldest members of the Soul Society, probably has the most knowledge of how the human body works. Meaning, she can look at you and go, yeah, no, that stab wound there, that's not how that would be normally made from this angle. Something's wrong here. And even then, it was such a perfect illusion that she says, I'm familiar with the dub, she's like, I had my doubts about this. I wasn't too sure. The implication is, even with all of her expertise, she had to actually go and visit Aizen to confirm her theory. She couldn't prove it based off of fact.
Yep.
And also, the other thing is, the only limitation of Aizen's Kyoketsu is it's limited by his mind. He probably knew less about the human body than Unohana did. That's probably why there was a very, very few errors.
Yep. And for those of you who are curious and can also see the screen, in the manga she says, if you wanted to conceal your presence so much that you created such a well-made corpse doll for it. Like, she compliments how accurate it is and hard to discover the flaw in it. Like, dude, this wasn't easy. She didn't look at it and know. And even then, it doesn't really matter now, does it? Jeez. Anyway.
It was such an exquisitely designed illusion that she actually thought it was a corpse doll.
Yeah. Okay, so moving forward.
Illusions are nearly perfect, but fellow Captain Unohana was able to subconsciously notice its flaws. With an eye as perceptive as the Sharingan, which can spot imperfections in genjutsus all the time, it was only inevitable that Madara would be...
Okay, with an eye as perceptive as the Sharingan, which can spot, fallings and illusions all the time, comparing Itachi to that one woman from Konoha that I don't even remember the name of, who was really, really bad at genjutsu compared to Itachi, is a really bad example. Especially when we can draw on the fact that Danzo, who had Sharingan all over his arm, still didn't recognize that he was under a genjutsu from another Sharingan. So, bad example, bad argument. Moving on.
Able to quickly break out.
However, the same couldn't be said for Aizen, who never showed any resistance to the kind of mental illusions Madara can create.
He even said...
Oh god. They really bring up fucking Shinji. Oh no.
Did they massacre your boy?
Look, okay, so for those of you who don't know, Shinji's probably like top 5 characters for me. I love Shinji. He's literally one of my favorite characters. I've done a lot of research on Shinji. They brought up the fact that Aizen can't do what these, quote, Sharingan users can, and brought up the Shinji fight as the example of him not having resistance to illusions. Did they even finish watching the fight? Did they just stop after he got cut? I want to know. I need to know. I'm getting scared.
Now, mind you, this isn't downplay of Shinji, because me and Mason talked a lot about how Shinji probably has the second best illusion thing in all of Bleach, alright?
Yeah.
It's not a downplay of Shinji. Aizen is just that much stronger.
Yeah. Like, the fact that, like, they're like, oh, no, yeah, he doesn't resist it, and then they just ignore what happened in that fight. They say all this stuff, and there's all this hype, and then Aizen does exactly what he always does, and reveals that he's been fucking with Shinji the entire time. Shinji doesn't believe him, and then I'm pretty sure he gets one shot.
Yeah, Shinji the entire time was like, "Ha! See, I knew you couldn't resist my illusions." It's so funny considering her power, and Aizen just at one moment was like, "Is this it?
Is
This is
all
all
you
you
can
have,
do?
really?"
This is all you can do?
And Shinji's like, "Oh, fucking Nani!" And he's like, "You misunderstand. Your illusion is limited to a couple senses. Mine encompasses all of them."
Yeah, by the way, slight side note for Bleach Brave Souls players. The CFYOW version of Shinji, I believe, actually is, he actually does, non-canonically have the best hypnosis in the entire series. Because I think his activation condition is a little easier to achieve. Because it's essentially the same thing. Except it is, in my opinion, a little easier to achieve. Unless we're talking about Chair Aizen. Actually, no. Because even then, you can close your eyes. Yeah, we talked about this. You can close your eyes against Chair Aizen. But there are ways of making you breathe that are a little easier than, you know, closing your eyes or stabbing your eyes out for most people.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we saw from Kenpachi, you do need to breathe.
You know what? Yeah.
That was my favorite movie, Kenpachi in Space.
You need to breathe. Unless you're Kenpachi, then you'll just get over it.
You'll just get over it. But yeah, no. The whole, like, saying, no, you can't resist my illusion, even though, you know, earlier statements, he resisted a technique that literally one-shots people. I'm pretty sure he can resist his illusion. And I'm pretty sure he does, because he basically turns it off. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure he starts moving in reverse and timing himself every time he switches perfectly to where it's unnoticeable that he's under an illusion, just to fuck with Shinji.
Oh.
Moving forward.
Setting illusions aside, the sheer quantity of offensive options at Madara's disposal, whether it be his clones, meteors, or monsters summoned by the Rinnegan, kept Aizen constantly on the back foot.
But none of that mattered if they couldn't kill each other, and both had pretty insane healing factors that could recover from just about anything, except for those pesky 8 balls of doom.
So here we get to talk about your favorite, I believe it's a Kido, maybe it's a Hado.
It is a well, no, technically Kido is just the arts. Hado is like destruction and so on. Yeah, it's a Hado.
So they bring up that setting aside illusions and like attacks, they both have ludicrously high regeneration because this is the Aizen with the Hogyoku and this is Madara with the soul, the world tree absorbed. And first,
hold on a minute, man. Are you sure it's Aizen with the Hogyoku?
He uses his evolutions, so supposedly.
All right.
However, I would argue that Madara's regeneration is significantly lower than Aizen's, since, you know... I'm pretty sure...
Anybody who has watched Bleach and has seen any high tier hollow and how they use the regeneration will know that Aizen probably has comparable, if not better. That thing where, like, you know, Madara regenerates half of his torso after he gets hit by my guy. Yeah, that's real impressive. That's just like a normal thing that high tier hollows do in Bleach.
Like, you can make the argument that, like, neither of them have ever regenerated their brain, except you'd be wrong, because Aizen has.
I remember that time he got hit
by Mugetsu, which cut his brain and stem in half, and he regenerated.
In the anime, like, they show, like, the thing hits him, and it's one half of him that just dust.
Oh yeah, he gets hit by that, and for those of you who have read and watched that fight and have a keen understanding of Mugetsu at that point in the series is at a level of power where essentially he just deletes whatever he hits. Like, it's
if you want to look at like a more concrete, like, you know, what's definition of its power in the data books, it's still to this day apparently the strongest attack.
Like, in the series. I would say in terms of raw AP, I probably wouldn't disagree. Though in terms of hacks, I probably would. I think Ichibe is...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but hacks isn't it? Hacks is entirely different. That's the thing with Bleach. You have high AP moves and you have just hacks.
Yeah. Speaking of hacks, that's what they're bringing up here. The fact that the truth-seeking orbs can damage souls and, like, destroy them. Even though,
yeah.
Technically, so can literally anything Aizen does. He
That's the
fights
thing with-
souls.
That's the thing. Whenever you get into a discussion about Bleach versus Naruto characters, there has to be a character from Naruto that has the ability to damage the opponent's soul. But then you run into the problem where, yeah, cool, but they're Bleach characters. They get to damage your soul way more. That's literally what they're designed to do.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. But like, you know what? But let me let them finish this segment real quick.
Madara's truth-seeking orbs were capable of completely molecularly annihilating spiritual beings and preventing them from regenerating. And again, Aizen was a spiritual being.
And Aizen lacked the ability to...
Okay, so they say, they've destroyed spiritual beings permanently with the truth-seeking orbs, which is fair. They have. However, something I will grant Aizen is that, unlike Naruto characters, Aizen's spiritual durability is likely way fucking higher. Way higher than anyone in Naruto that isn't probably an Otsutsuki.
And even then,
I mean, even then, it's still way higher than an Otsutsuki. It's just not as high as it is compared to the other ones.
yeah.
So, number one, he would likely be able to resist the truth-seeking orbs with raw durability. And again, if you wanted to bring up the quote-unquote hacks, we could bring up the quote-unquote anti-hacks that Aizen has. It's one of the things about using the power system. You can't pick and choose. If you're using both as one, you need to use both sets of rules.
Yep.
But then, one of the things they said is that, because of their regeneration like this, that is the only way the fight would have ended. Because Aizen doesn't have a way of killing Madara because of his regeneration. Which, you know what? If we want to ignore the fact that, he literally specializes in killing souls, we can bring up...
we want to ignore the fact that Aizen ruled over a bunch of entities that all have comparable regeneration to Madara, and they all followed him because he was just strong enough to kill all of them.
Yep. So, would you like to talk about your favorite Hado for a moment?
I don't remember the number. The Hado I believe he's talking about is called Hyen, and its actual description is it's a bright purple flame that the user whips out, usually with a sword slash, that annihilates the targeted area from existence. It is comparable to Hakai from Dragon Ball.
Yep. In terms of hacks, not literal AP, by the way. We're not having this discussion.
No.
So yeah, that's Hyen, and if you want proof, it's the thing that Kaname used on Grimmjow's arm that literally wiped it from existence. The only thing that could bring that back was because he's a hollow and he's got regeneration. He doesn't have high speed regeneration, but he has regular regeneration. However, he was showing no signs of growing that arm back at all, even after several days, which, even with regular hollow regeneration, would at least start regenerating. It's not like Ulquiorra level, but it's just his arm. However, it was wiped from existence, so it can't come back. The only thing that could bring it back was Orihime's power. The power to deny reality.
Which is neither spatial nor temporal.
Yep. It is
my favorite part about that.
It is almost an outer-versal type of power. It is literally, you could interpret it almost as being a boundless power if Yuha didn't stop it.
Especially if you read the light novels.
Yeah, light novels are crazy. But I'm pretty sure that's the last point to cover. So by the way, again, he's a Kido master. He can use it. If Kaname can use it, he can use it better.
What's even more frightening about this is technically, since it is a Kido, it has an incantation that we have never seen.
Yep.
So, Kaname is not a Kido master. And he whipped that shit out and it can do that to Grimmjow. If he would have used an incantation, it would have been stronger. Aizen can just use it as at base and be as strong as Kaname with an incantation. It shouldn't be possible, because this is a Hack's ability, but this is how abilities in Bleach work.
Which, by the way, I feel like I'd be wrong in saying this, but like just for reference on how good Kaname is at using Kido, I'm pretty sure that if we use like the regular move sets and stuff from Brave Souls, I'm pretty sure that freaking Wolfie Boy, why can't I remember his name?
Komura?
Yeah, Komamura. Sajin is better at using Kido than Kaname is. I don't think he's ever used a Kido of higher number than him, but he's used way more and used them way more in combat.
God, I'm so hung up on the Kido thing. There's so many Kidos they could have used in this fight to be awesome.
Yep, there's
Like, okay, for instance, we talked about Hyatt and what it can do, and it's essentially comparable to the truth-seeking orbs, right? But like, there's a Kido in Bleach called Dangu, and its entire purpose is to block every other Kido level 89 and lower. So Aizen could have bet that thing. I'm like, oh, we could argue due to its attack potential, it just blocks a truth-seeking orb.
And they're like, hey, listen, well, maybe it's just higher than 89. No, because it's comparable to one that's like 61, I'm pretty sure. Because that's what Hyen is, I think.
Yeah, Hyen's not that high of a Kido level. It's surprisingly low.
I think it's in the 60s.
I think it may actually be 61.
Yeah.
You got I think it's Super Eboshi, the one that, Byakuya used against Zamari, where it just summons 5 pillars of light that paralyze you if it hits you.
Yep, that's the good one.
Completely paralyzes you.
Oh, it's so great. But I'll see if they have any end statements now.
To do the same irreversible damage to Madara, the ghost of the Uchiha had exactly what he needed to put this actual ghost down for good.
Aizen was an unbelievably overpowered foe, but Madara's own powers, illusions, and devastating truth-seeking orbs allowed him to crush the ex-Shinigami.
Sosuke should have kept his eyes in.
Okay, I get what you guys are saying, but technically he's not an ex-Shinigami, he's an ex-captain. He didn't stop being a Shinigami, he's just more than a Shinigami now.
Unless they're trying to make the argument that, like, when it became his merged, monster Aizen form, he technically stopped being both, which I could see an argument for, but that's a dumb argument. I don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, I mean, because
So
you don't
powers.
say. Well, I mean, we don't say that Ichigo isn't a Shinigami, even though he's literally everything Aizen is at this point and more.
Yeah.
Like the only thing he's missing is the magical, unpredictable wish-granting orb.
Yeah.
Surprise! And
Maybe he isn't, but we're not going to.
Do you feel any shame at all?
moderately. Ha! Double pun. Suck it, Wiz.
The winner is Madara Uchiha.
God, horrible puns.
I'll say this: there's one thing they did right in this video.
Oh yeah?
They did, I'll give Boomstick credit. He did give proper praise to Chair-sama. Not enough, in my opinion, but it's enough to keep him at bay.
He did praise Chair-sama. Their next combatant is Saitama versus Popeye. Yeah, Popeye wins, by the way. Just quick spoiler. Popeye wins.
Well, about Saitama's character point.
Congratulations. You can make the same argument for Popeye. Except
By the way,
Popeye has higher scaling.
It's funny that you brought up, like, this, because I was thinking earlier when you were talking about Aizen's character, I was like, he's just born too strong. I'm like, yeah, he's got the same fucking background as, like, Saitama. He was just born too strong. He's too strong. That is Aizen's fate.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
He has no peers.
Listen, I could make a whole video about why Aizen's character is so great. Or you could just go watch that Nux Taku video that came out like a long time ago that does it really well as well.
Or, as an alternative, if you want to watch a longer video, you go watch DBZ Imrens. There's a whole fucking thing of character analysis videos.
True. And again, just for a moment, not to like, to be fair, to show equality, Aizen's character is also really, really good. It's really well done. The reason for him fighting is like justified. It's that whole ends justifying the means argument, and also the means being too mean. But
Yeah, it's
again,
kind of.
it is a story about self-inflicted solitude, as aside from Aizen's, like, you know, fated solitude. They're almost opposites in terms of their tragic backstories.
Yeah.
But any closing statements for the video?
Stay tuned. Wait for the next Bleach versus Naruto analysis whenever Death Battle does another episode. I'll probably be there.
Probably. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Straga. You were definitely helpful. You got to talk about your favorite Hado.
Oh.
Bring up some direct statements from the dub that I definitely wouldn't have remembered.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Guilty dub watcher, am I?
Okay,
Even
well,
though
yeah.
Bleach has one of the best dubs ever, you know?
Listen, Johnny Young Bosch kills it, alright?
Yes.
Ah, shit.
Johnny Bosch has no bad roles.
Shit. Who's Aizen's voice actor? By name, I can't remember.
Kyle Bear. And I was wondering, he is also the
No.
Dragon Ball Z announcer.
No! I hate you so much.
You're you're all right. Aizen does narrate Dragon Ball. He's that strong.
God damn it. Alright. Leave a comment, like or dislike the video, I don't really care. Go ahead and fight with me, but if you're gonna fight with me in the comments, at least have a good argument. I'm trying to be fair to both sides here. I'm not picking sides. Well, I am in technicality, picking sides, but I'm trying to be as fair as I can be. Like, I could have overwanked Aizen to be like Universal plus if I really wanted to, but I didn't. Either way, you guys have a fantastic day. I have no idea when this video is gonna go up, or have a fantastic night, depending on where you live in the world and when you watch this.
Probably
goodbye.
after Christmas.
Shut up. It's definitely coming out before Christmas.
How about you time it for Christmas as a lovely Christmas present?
Fuck no, this video just came out. I gotta put it out now. Gotta be relevant.
Mace, those flames are going to be fucking roaring for a while. Have you seen the comment section?
Oh yeah, I have. It's gonna be fun. Alright. See you guys in the next video if I ever post again. Goodbye.